All right, so our thinking area this morning is deferment, right? Thinking area number 35, deferment. Anybody, while they were using, I'm going to give up tomorrow? Tomorrow never comes. Isn't that an amazing thing? The sun comes up, but tomorrow never comes. Guys with me? And what did you achieve in that time? I spent 35 years in that cycle. I achieved absolutely nothing. In fact, what I had achieved, I lost. I lost wives, I lost houses, I lost jobs, I lost respect, self-pride. I didn't even look after my own body. Hated myself. I lost all self-esteem. That's what drugs does to you. It sucks you out from the inside out. Right? So, do we all agree that to be an achiever, you have to do something? You have to have some kind of plan in place. If you don't have a plan, how are you going to know when you've reached your goal? If you don't have a plan, are you ever going to strive to reach a goal? Right? So, if society has labeled you as a loser, do you want to remain a loser for the rest of your life? No. Because laziness will get you to a point where you are always envious of other people who have. You become an I don't have. Right? You guys with me? So who's going to change your life?
You.
At least one person gets it. Right? The other 39 are just cruising. Yeah? Guys, if you're going to change your life, you've got to get up and change it. You've got to change the way you think. Isn't that? You can't be a loss on your parents for the rest of your lives, man. Come on. Where's the self-esteem in that? Eh? Where's the self-pride and the self-achievement in that? If you can't even be proud of yourself, how do you expect your kids to be proud of you? What are you waiting for, the lotto? You're waiting for Mr. Lotto to come and change your life. Believe me, he's not there to change your life. Luke 14, verse 28 to 32. It says, therefore, which of you intending to build a tower does not sit down first and count the cost whether he has enough to finish it? Step number 1, what do I want to achieve? Step number 2, how am I going to achieve it? Put steps in place to achieve it. Right? Lest after he has laid a foundation, he's unable to finish it, and all who see him begin to mock and laugh at him. Because once again, he's failed. Anybody failed before? Been there, done that? Do you enjoy it? Don't you want to be a success for a change?
Yes.
What makes you feel good about yourself? Isn't it about setting a goal and then by step achieving that goal? Once you've achieved that goal, you feel good about what you've done? Because you've done it? Yes, it may not be the highest pinnacle of any achievement in the world, but you've done it. That's what makes a difference. You've done it, isn't it? The hard work has been done by you, and it wasn't lacquer while you were doing the hard work, but once you achieve your success, then it's a good thing. You feel good about yourself, isn't it? Who can take that away? You've done it. You've achieved it. Nobody can take that away. But if you're sitting on your butt at home, expecting your parents to supply all of your needs, and you never achieve anything, how good do you feel about yourself then? You see what I'm saying? So it's in the hard work that your prize becomes precious. It becomes a treasure to you. To you. Doesn't matter what other people think. Although other people will look up to you, obviously. Are you guys getting it?
Yeah.
So it's a change of mindset. It's going to take hard work. Verse 30. They begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. Or what king, going to make war against another king, does not sit down first and consider whether he's able to with 10,000 to meet him who comes with 20,000? Right? So in other words, what he's saying is, you're going to think a thing through. And if it's too far for you to achieve now, set your goal here. Once you've achieved this goal, then that goal is in line. then that goal becomes achievable, right? So don't set your goal up there where it's going to take you 50 years to get there, because you're going to become despondent because it's never coming. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Isn't God's word full of wisdom? Isn't he just an incredible God, an amazing God? So he says, what king going to make war against another king does not sit down first and consider whether he's able with his 10,000, with what he's got, to be able to achieve the guy who's coming against him with 20,000, or else while the other is still a great way off, he sends a delegation and asks for conditions of peace. Right? A wise man, because otherwise he's going to get here say, "Gat gaan geskop word." Right? You're just going to set yourself up for failure. So be realistic in your expectations and your goals that you are setting for yourself. Make sense?
Yes.
Andy? Make sense? You have to do this, guys. Nobody's going to do it for you. Your parents are busy living their lives. They say they can maybe set you up and encourage you, etc., etc. But you have to make up your mind. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Right? You want to be a success, go out and make a success of yourself. Nothing's stopping you. If you have to work a day job and a night job and you can get 2 jobs in this climate, then go for it. But I can guarantee you, with your talents, there's something that you can do to generate money. Because God doesn't make mistakes. You guys with me? It's a short class today. Proverbs 13:4 says this. The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing. Right? The mind of a lazy man is always desiring something better, but it's never satisfied. Because he's too lazy to go and achieve it or get it. And that's where theft comes in, isn't it? It's much easier just to take what you want if you can. Right? Which is the wrong thing to do. And then you feel, oh, it's so much better with your reward, don't you? When you've stolen it. Nah, the guy who's laughing is the supplier. Isn't it? Because you've dragged it out within 5 minutes. No reward there. It's like pouring water in your hand. Right? Ooh, such a receptive crowd. The soul of a lazy man desires and has nothing, but the soul of a diligent man shall be rich. He's talking about the soul being rich. Right? Your mind. You're going to be satisfied. When you worked a hard day at work and you've achieved something, you're satisfied, you go to bed, you're not like a door turning on its hinges. Right? You have a good night's sleep. You're satisfied. Your soul is satisfied. Are you getting something here? All right, Galatians 6, verse 4 to 10. You guys know this scripture quite well by now. What you sow is what you reap. This is a spiritual principle, but it's as well as a physical principle. It's a principle that God has set in place, like gravity and electricity. You can't see it, but it's there. You don't believe in electricity, stick your fingers in the plug, let's see. Let each one examine his own work. Then he will have rejoicing in himself alone and not in another. Isn't that cool? You've done a good day's job, you've achieved something, you've sown into another person, whether it's spiritual or whether it's physical. It's going to be satisfying to you. Right? What else is there on this earth that is going to satisfy you? If not, achieving. What else is going to satisfy you? If you do not achieve love with another person, you're never going to be satisfied in that area. If you do not achieve with your hands something that satisfies you as a person, that you're a creative person, whether it be painting or woodwork or metalwork or whatever the case might be, if you do not achieve in that area, you're not going to be satisfied in that area. In other words, you're going to be an unsatisfied person, an unfulfilled person. Why? Because of the lie that I'm not good enough, the lie that I can't do it, The lie that I just don't feel like it. The lie that I'll put it off until tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. You're never going to achieve anything by putting it off till tomorrow. You're not. Because sufficient to the day is the trouble thereof. That's what the Bible teaches us, right? It says, redeem the time, for the days are evil. Use the time, because the time that you are putting in is what you're going to get out. What you sow is what you're going to reap, is what God is telling us. For each one will bear his own load, right? Do not be deceived. God's not mocked. For whatever a man sows, he will also reap. Finish and close. What you sow is what you're going to reap. If you do not sow into your relationships, you are going to have weak people skills. You're going to feel like this. Nobody understands me. No, nobody understands you because no one can read your mind. You've got to learn to open your mouth and actually speak. And tell people who you are, what you like, what you don't like. So the boundaries can be drawn in your relationships and you can attract people who are like-minded. How do you attract somebody if you don't step out of your comfort zone and speak to people? How do I cross the barrier lines that have been drawn between cultures and colors? How do I repair those unless I step out and reach out? What I sow, I'm going to reap. Isn't it? Are you guys getting something here? It's up to you, is what I'm trying to say. God has made you in his image and likeness. It's up to you to take control of you and squeeze the goodness out of life. It's not going to come to you. Because your parents can supply you with every physical thing, but it's not going to satisfy you spiritually. Is it? If us sitting here, who have got a car in the family, are in the top 13% of the richest people in the world, and we sitting here unhappy, there's your proof. Right? Isn't it? Wow. That is some raw. Am I right though? Yeah. It's not in the thing. So we're missing something. We're missing the point here somewhere. It's in the relationships. Isn't it? So I go, I study, I achieve, I become strong in myself, I'm proud of myself, I'm doing well, and now what am I going to give? I'm full of joy, I'm full of peace, I'm full of happiness, I've got God in my life, that's what I'm going to give to my neighbor. It's only then that I'm going to cross the barrier line and say, look, I don't understand your culture, and sit down with me and explain it a bit to me so that I can start understanding where he's coming from. Isn't it? Yes. Now my life's getting a bit of colour because God didn't make us all the same. All in all, we're just another brick in the wall. Imagine life if we all thought the same and did the same, how boring it would be. So life is there, but it's passing us by because of our mindset. Am I talking to anybody here? Yes. Our mindset is trapping us. Beauty is all around us. But when our heads are down, we can't see it. Isn't it? We're still busy with Galatians 6. Don't be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, he'll reap. For he who sows to his flesh will reap from the flesh corruption, and he who sows to the Spirit will of the Spirit reap everlasting light. Right? Therefore, as we have opportunity, let us do good to all, especially to those who are of the household of faith. Once you start doing good things, you start receiving good things. Isn't it? Because 9 times out of 10, if I do a good thing here to D, he's going to do a good thing back to me. Is that not so? Yeah. Is that so? So why are we not doing good things? If every single person here did one good thing today for another person, tomorrow that person's going to come and give it back to you. Imagine. Imagine how much good will be done just among us as a community if we all just do one good thing a day. How will that make us feel? Number one, when we feel rejected, suddenly people are doing good things for us. We feel like we are human. We make a difference. We matter. So immediately my spirits are lifted up. Does our country not need that?
Yes.
In this time of coronavirus especially? You see, you've got a choice because you're cooped up. You've got a choice whether you can or do a good thing. You're going to invite the Spirit in your quarters, in your surroundings, by what you do. Overcome evil by doing good. Who are you waiting for? You see what I'm saying? And as soon as I do good for somebody else, I feel great, number one. And then they feel better, number two. And they're going to do good as well, and so it's going to spread like a fire. So you, by doing one good deed, don't know it. You haven't seen the flame spread. But one day when you get to heaven, God's going to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. You're going to say, well, why are you commending me? You remember that day that you did a good deed for deed? It spread, and I saved somebody out of that. Because they were about to run away, go and overdose, and die. And that good word, the deed, went and spread because you started it. Stopped him from going overdosing and dying, and he turned his life to me, and I saved him, and he has eternal life. Well done, my good and faithful servant, for that little one good deed that you did for deed. Because I will use that deed to go and do my will. How's that? Isn't it? God took 12 disciples. And today there's millions of people who believe. And Jesus didn't travel further than 60 km from Jerusalem. He walked around. And 2,000 years later, there are millions of people who, because of that principle, what you sow will reap. And your harvest, if you go and sow 1 millipip, what do you get? You get 1 milliplant, right? But in that milliplant, there's thousands of other milliplants. And in those thousands of other milliplants there become millions of other. You know what I mean? From planting one. Isn't it? You can plant one tree and you leave it there for 100 years. And come have a look in 100 years' time how many trees are there. Same principle. What you sow is what you're going to reap. And you never reap just one thing. You guys getting something? Yes. I hope so, otherwise I'm using a lot of oxygen. Okay, so Proverbs 12:24. So you think you're not really making much difference in life, isn't it? But you don't know what your harvest is because you don't see your harvest. That's why you're going so good. Otherwise you'd have your reward here on earth. Your reward's in heaven, right? Proverbs 12:24. The hand of the diligent will rule, but the lazy man will be forced to labor. The man who is diligent, he's the one who will excel. He will set goals. He will achieve. He will set new goals. He will achieve. He will set new goals. He will achieve. He will always be going up. The lazy man will be forced to be at the bottom of the chain. Forced labor. We see it every day, isn't it? We see it in our society. So the question is, where do you want to be on the chain? It's up to you. Because it's a ladder of success that you're going to climb. And don't you think we've wasted enough time now? Enough is enough. That's why we feel so bad about ourselves. Because we're not happy with who we are. Well, let's change who we are then. Let us take God's hand and let us change by His grace and in His strength, because some days we don't feel like doing it. But He's got all the strength in the world and the encouragement and the love to get you up to do it. Proverbs 21 verse 5. The plans of the diligent lead surely to plenty, but those of everyone who is hasty surely to poverty. So in other words, he's saying, don't set your goal and then expect to achieve it by 3 weeks' time. Have the backbone and the knowledge that it's going to take time to achieve. Always have your end goal in mind when you get up in the morning. This is what I'm getting up for and laboring for today. To get there. Don't lose sight of that, because then it's easy for your old chummies to come now. Your old buddies to come and, just take a break, man. Come, let's just go and hit a pipe or three. Can carry on tomorrow. Don't work that way. What is your end goal? Your end goal is more important than your pleasure of today. I'm prepared to sacrifice for that. Isn't it? Yeah. Otherwise your goal is not very big and bright in your heart. Ecclesiastes 9:10 says this. Whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all your might, for there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you're going. In other words, what he's saying is, you want to achieve. Achieve now while you're alive. In the grave, it's forbade. You don't have another chance. Stop wasting time. Get on with it. What are you waiting for? Don't defer till tomorrow. Start now. Make your mind up now. Set your goals now. Be realistic in the setting of your goals now. What you sow is what you're going to reap. If I'm going to take a break and go and use, I'm going to go this way and not this way. Let me rather stop that. Let me go this way. Because I am going to become an achiever, and I'm going to be happy within my skin, and I'm going to know who I am, and I'm going to thank God that He has created me a success. Not a loser. I can be proud of myself and what I've achieved by the glory of God and by the grace of God. Nobody can do that for you. You've got to do it for yourself. Okay, are you guys with me? Amen. The last scripture I've got today is Habakkuk 2 verse 2. It says this, the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain on tablets. What is your vision? Write it. Make it plain. Stick it up next to your bed. Stick it on your fridge. Stick it where you can see it, so that when you get up in the morning, oh yes, that's why I'm getting up today. That's where I'm going. Right? Write the vision, make it plain on tablets that he may run who reads it. Keep reminding yourself, this is why I'm, okay, no, this is why I'm doing it. Alright? Keep it in your forefront of your mind. For the vision is set for an appointed time, but at the end it will speak and it won't lie. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, it will not wait. When it's time to be fulfilled, it will be fulfilled. If you are diligent, keep it in your mind and press on towards it. It will come. Step out. Make a straight path for yourself. Why go that way and that way and that way and that way? I did it for 35 years. Every which way the wind of doctrine blew, I just went with it. And I achieved absolutely nothing. All I came out with after 35 years was one suitcase with a couple of kit in it. That's it. Lost everything else. All friends, all relationships. Even my family didn't even want to know me anymore because I was not their child anymore. I'd become somebody else. Not worth it. Have a goal, write it down, set it, don't put it off till tomorrow, achieve it. Be proud of yourself, man. Be proud of yourself.